Courtrooms are generally considered spaces where legal proceedings are conducted in a controlled and secure environment. However, there are chilling instances when courtrooms become the unexpected stage for the last breaths of convicts. Here are 5 such cases where convicts met their demise within those very walls. David Paradiso, starting with the first case of a 28-year-old man named David Paradiso. In 2006, David Paradiso faced a grim accusation, killing his girlfriend, Eileen Pelt, in a brutal stabbing. The legal journey that followed, however, took a shocking turn that no one expected. David had a troubled history, spending over 3 years in adult state prisons and facing charges related to vandalism, drugs, and alcohol offenses. As his trial began in February 2009 in Stockton, California, his defense argued that he was high on methamphetamine during the killing, claiming he lacked the intent for a murder conviction due to mental illness and drug abuse. The trial reached a shocking climax when, during a recess, David abruptly left the witness stand and attacked the presiding judge, Cinder Fox, from behind with a cutting instrument. The chaos unfolded as David punched and possibly stabbed the judge, prompting 2 bailiffs to intervene. However, before they could reach him, a police detective, Eric Bradley, who happened to be present, shot David in the head. The courtroom, meant for the pursuit of justice, turned into a scene of tragedy. David Paradiso was pronounced dead at the scene, and Judge Fox, with non-life-threatening injuries, was taken to the hospital. The incident raised serious concerns about courthouse security, as questions lingered about how David managed to obtain a weapon. In the aftermath, David's family expressed frustration, claiming they had warned authorities about his potential for violence. His mother, Deborah Paradiso, vividly recounted how they had reported his mental problems and even informed the jail about his possession of a weapon 2 weeks prior, yet nothing was done. David's brother, Aaron Paradiso, emphasized that all the documented mental problems were reported, and David had expressed reluctance to testify. The trial itself revolved around the horrifying events leading to Eileen Pelt's death. David was accused of stabbing her in the neck while his mother drove them in her car. Deborah Paradiso, forced to drive, later revealed that David compelled her to transport both him and the victim's body to Amador County, where he disposed of it. Charles Pacheco, David's defense attorney, had argued that his client's actions were influenced by methamphetamine, a claim that remained unresolved due to the shocking courtroom incident. The shooting of David Paradiso in the courtroom shook the legal community, sparking debates about security measures and the adequacy of warnings issued by the family. The tragic event cast a dark shadow over the pursuit of justice and left everyone questioning how such a shocking turn of events could unfold within the supposedly secure walls of a courtroom. Although in the previous case we witnessed a shocking courtroom incident, this case, however, took an unexpected turn as a mother decided to take justice into her own hands. Klaus Grabowski. In the 1980s in Lübeck, West Germany, Klaus Grabowski, a 35-year-old butcher with a criminal past, committed a heinous crime. On May 5, 1980, he kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered 7-year-old Anna Bachm, his neighbor who had skipped school that day following a disagreement with her mother. Anna, unaware of the impending danger, was lured into Grabowski's apartment under the false promise of playing with his cats. However, Grabowski exploited the situation, subjecting Anna to hours of sexual assault before ultimately strangling her with his fiancée's pantyhose. He callously dumped her lifeless body in a cardboard box near a canal. Grabowski's fiancée, horrified by his actions, bravely tipped off the police, leading to his swift arrest. The authorities not only apprehended Grabowski, but also recovered Anna's remains. Grabowski, no stranger to criminality, denied the charges of sexual abuse, claiming that Anna had attempted to blackmail him after seducing him. He went so far as to argue that the crime was a result of her threatening to expose the assault to her mother unless he paid her money. During Grabowski's trial in the District Court of Lübeck on March 3, 1981, Anna's mother, Marianne Bachmeier, served as a witness. Enraged by Grabowski's denial and testimony, she sought her own form of justice. 3 days into the trial, Bachmeier smuggled a .22 caliber Beretta pistol into the packed courtroom. As Grabowski was being led to his seat, she shot him 7 times in the back. The act, a startling instance of vigilante justice, immediately resulted in Grabowski's death. While some reports suggest he died on the spot, others claim he succumbed on the way to the hospital. Regardless, Bachmeier was arrested without resistance and charged with premeditated manslaughter. Bachmeier's case garnered extensive media coverage and public debate in Germany and beyond. Held in custody, she received messages of support from many who empathized with her actions. However, not everyone agreed with condoning vigilante justice, and public opinion shifted when details about Bachmeier's personal life emerged. Charged with murder initially, Bachmeier's legal journey saw twists and turns. The West German judiciary faced criticism for enabling a repeat sex offender like Grabowski to undergo hormonal treatment. Eventually, on March 2, 1983, after 28 days of negotiations, Bachmeier was convicted of manslaughter and unlawful possession of a firearm. She received a 6-year prison sentence, but was released on parole after serving approximately 2 years. Bachmeier's life took various turns post-release. She married, lived abroad for a while, and tragically, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. In 1996, at the age of 46, she passed away in Lübeck and was buried next to her daughter Anna in Burgtor Cemetery. This case is an example of the complexities surrounding crime, justice, and the lengths a grieving mother may go to avenge her child. But can we justify the next case of a former Wall Street trader and millionaire whose existence took a dark turn? Michael Marin. Michael Marin, who was once a Wall Street trader and lawyer living a life of luxury, faced a dramatic downfall that led to a shocking end. Having worked for renowned financial firms like Lehman Brothers and Merrill Lynch, Marin amassed wealth, enabling him to indulge in a lavish and adventurous lifestyle. His pursuits included worldwide travels, conquering the highest mountains, and collecting valuable artworks, including pieces by Pablo Picasso. However, as fortune turned its back on Marin, he found himself unable to sustain his extravagant life. The pinnacle of his financial troubles centered around his $3.5 million mansion in Phoenix, Arizona. Failing to afford the monthly mortgage of $17,250, Marin attempted to sell the property through a charity auction in 2009, but his efforts proved ineffective. In a desperate attempt to claim insurance money and escape financial ruin, Marin orchestrated a complex arson scheme on July 5, 2009. Setting his 6,600-foot home ablaze, he ignited 4 fires using flammable materials and phone directories strategically placed throughout the house. Wearing scuba gear, Marin escaped the flames by descending from his bedroom with a rope ladder. Attempting to cover his tracks, Marin called 911 and even gave an interview from his hospital bed.
Yeah, my house is on fire.
Are you going to be able to get out?
I've got one of those ladders.
Recounting the incident and emphasizing his fortunate escape using the scuba diving suit. However, suspicions arose among firefighters, leading to arson investigators stepping in to examine the case. The investigation uncovered Marin's intentional actions, sealing his fate. Arrested and charged with arson of an occupied structure and insurance fraud, Marin faced the prospect of 7 to 21 years in prison. The trial commenced on May 21, 2012, and on June 28, 2012, the jury delivered a guilty verdict. What followed was a shocking turn of events within the courtroom. In response to the verdict and imminent custody, Marin took matters into his own hands. Closing his eyes, he discreetly ingested a lethal dose of cyanide, causing him to collapse and convulse. Rushed to a hospital, Marin was pronounced dead, with the autopsy confirming by cyanide ingestion. The circumstances surrounding Marin's demise stirred public attention as cameras captured his harrowing descent towards death. The once mighty financier, whose life was marked by financial success and daring adventures, met a tragic end, leaving behind a legacy of greed, desperation, and a shocking courtroom. As if this case wasn't unsettling enough, brace yourself for the shocking case of Slobodan Praljak, who, in a desperate act, took matters into his own hands just like Marin did. Slobodan Praljak, born on January 2, 1945, was more than just a soldier. He was a philosopher, sociologist, film and theatre director, and even a businessman. His journey began in Yugoslavia, now Bosnia and Herzegovina, where his father's involvement with a wartime security agency marked the family's history. Praljak, Having graduated from various faculties, pursued roles as a professor, lecturer, and freelance artist. He directed films, TV shows, and theatre plays, showcasing his diverse talents. However, the turbulent times of the Croatian War of Independence in 1991 called Praljak to a different battlefield. Voluntarily joining the Croatian armed forces, he played a significant role in the defense of Sanja and later became the chief of staff of the Croatian Defense Council during the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Little did he know that this would mark the beginning of his downfall. Post-war, Praljak found himself facing charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity, leading to his indictment by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, ICTY, in 2004. Despite surrendering voluntarily, he pleaded not guilty to all charges. In 2013, the ICTY delivered a verdict, sentencing him to 20 years in prison. Attempting an appeal, Praljak faced a harsh reality when the court confirmed his guilt in 2017. The courtroom became a stage for his final act of defiance. Upon hearing the confirmation of his conviction,
the sentence of 20 years of imprisonment,
Praljak stood up and boldly declared, "Judges, Slobodan Praljak is not a war criminal. With disdain, I reject your verdict." His act of defiance didn't stop there. In a shocking turn of events, he consumed what he claimed to be poison from a small bottle he had smuggled into the courtroom. The judges swiftly suspended the session, calling for medical help. Praljak was rushed to a local hospital, but succumbed shortly afterward. An autopsy revealed the cause of death was potassium cyanide, which is a highly toxic substance that induces cardiac arrest. After his death, people wondered how he got the poison into the courtroom without anyone noticing. Investigators tried hard to find out where the poison came from but couldn't figure it out. His lawyer said he might have planned to do this for a long time because he couldn't handle being called a war criminal. The Dutch authorities treated the courtroom as a crime scene, pointing out the strange situation of Praljak's final actions. Despite the confusion, Praljak's death shocked and angered many Bosnian Croats who admired him as a hero. Unfortunately, something similar happened in another courtroom incident, this time in Fargo, North Dakota, back in 2021. Jeffrey Sahl Ferris, a man on trial, faced terrorizing related charges, and the situation took a drastic turn after the jury delivered a partial guilty verdict on May 17, 2021. In an unexpected and shocking move, the defendant slashed his own throat with a sharp instrument made of plastic, leading to his tragic demise. The courtroom was left in chaos as U.S. District Judge Peter Welte, courtroom staff, and others witnessed the horrifying incident. Despite attempts by court security officers and deputy marshals to save the man's life, their efforts were in vain. The FBI spokesperson Kevin Smith revealed that the defendant had been acquitted on one charge but found guilty on another after hearing the verdict and with the jury out of the courtroom. In a subsequent investigation, it was discovered that the defendant, later identified as Jeffrey Sahl Ferris, faced charges related to reckless endangerment and assault for allegedly running over someone with a jeep. Additionally, he was accused of brandishing a weapon, leading to a terrorizing charge. The circumstances surrounding Ferris's trial took an unexpected and tragic turn when, facing the prospect of a lengthy prison sentence, he resorted to in the courtroom. The aftermath of Ferris's self-inflicted injuries raised questions about courtroom security and how he managed to bring a sharp object, possibly made of plastic, into the federal courtroom undetected. The FBI initiated an investigation to uncover the details of the incident, including the nature of the sharp object and how it entered the courtroom. A witness who observed the events recounted that Ferris had been found guilty, and realizing the impending prison term, he pleaded to be released until sentencing. When his pleas were denied by the judge, Ferris began fidgeting with his neck. This disturbing act escalated as he slit his own throat with an object, resulting in blood splattering across the courtroom walls. The tragic episode concluded with Ferris screaming for breath as he was wrestled to the floor by marshals. Despite the unusual circumstances, the incident highlighted the challenges of ensuring security in a federal courtroom, leaving authorities with numerous unanswered questions. If you enjoyed videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. What would you like to see next? Let us know in the comments.